Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Why We're Over It. The benefits of cash-based physical therapy, not only for the physical therapist provider, but also for the client. How it gives everybody in this model freedom to treat the way they want, receive care the way they want. And we're talking to lots of clinicians all across the country to get their take on why it's working for them and get their stories. So I'm Dr. Kelly Weisner with Flourish Columbus, and I'm going to throw it over to my partner, Dr. Jen, and we'll get going.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Jen Morgan. I am from Centrality Wellness based in Guilford, Connecticut, a little shoreline town. And today we are with a rock star. She is someone that I follow on social media. I'm part of all of her groups, so I'm a little bit of a fangirl. Dr. Morgan Meese. She is amazing. She's a physical therapist. She's a wellness coach. She's a business consultant. She was working 9 to 5. She bounced into being an entrepreneur, being her own cash-based physical therapist, and then actually bounced into telehealth pre-pandemic. So I'm really excited to hear her story. So we are going to let her kind of do a really more in-depth intro. So Dr. Morgan, welcome. Super happy to have you.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say after that. Geez. Well, I am so glad to be here. And this is one of my favorite things is getting to know other clinicians too. I just started a podcast a little while ago, and I just getting to know all the different things that people are doing outside the norm, the non-traditional path, and that you don't have to just leave PT school and go right into an outpatient clinic for 40 years. That's it.
Yes, so, love it.
And definitely stop me if you need to, because I will talk a lot. But yeah, so my story, so I graduated in 2018, and my boyfriend and I, he's a PT as well. We graduated the same class, super cute. And we moved across the country. So we went to school in upstate New York. And before that, I was in Connecticut too. So yeah, I know right where you are. But we moved out here. I'd done some clinicals out here, and I have some family here as well. And it was going to be amazing because Las Vegas is great, like we were talking about. But I had no idea what was going to happen. My plan was I was just going to have this outpatient job. I was going to learn a bunch of stuff, do a bunch of Con Ed, and it was going to be great. It's going to pay off all my student loans. And yeah, things just went way different than I thought they would. I took my job and started in January of 2019, and then I had my last day in May. I barely made it into my 5th month before I was I can't do this anymore. And it wasn't necessarily the company was really bad, and I love my coworkers. I just the way that I like to treat patients is very one-on-one and pretty low key and slow, and I really like to get to know people and give them the opportunity to express themselves and get to know me. And just the way that most outpatient clinics are here, I would say on a regular basis, clinicians are seeing anywhere between 20 and 40 patients a day. Yeah. So it's just not what I wanted to do. So that's why I decided to leave, and I went into home health, which also has its pros and cons, but the flexibility and a little bit higher pay was really cool. But it just wasn't really the population that I like to work with. I really enjoy working with athletes, so I opened my cash practice and started working with CrossFit athletes out of my gym.
Wow, awesome. So how did you know cash PT was a thing? Did you guys talk about it in PT school? Did you kind of come across it on your own? How'd you find out that was a business model?
Yeah, no, good question. So I had my first clinical out here. I worked at Select Physical Therapy, and lived with my aunt and uncle. And my aunt told me about a physical therapist she and my cousin had been going to see, who owned his own practice, and they just did cash PT. And she spoke like really highly of him. So then I did all the like paperwork and stuff I needed to do, and then made my fourth clinical happen at his practice, which was really cool, because it was a one-man show, and I got to see like the cash PT and everything up front. And that was actually where I was like thinking about possibly working after school, and then it just ended up not working out, which is another story. But that's how I figured it out.
Okay, cool.
And so right now you're working with CrossFit athletes, right? So
Mhm.
probably younger population. So typically those who would probably be on like a commercial insurance. So are those individuals asking for like a super bill? Are they asking for any of those things? Or do you find it's more of like a wellness type of situation where it's not super bill capable?
Yeah, so I like when I first started, I made sure like I had my super bills available and everything, but honestly, nobody has asked me for one. Like even like the couple people that I've said like, yeah, I can like give you a, an invoice, so to speak, and then you can submit for reimbursement to your insurance. Nobody's asked for one. Like even the people I told about it, it's all been, straight cash the whole time. I have a couple people who have paid with their HSA cards. So like I have my notes and everything if anybody needs a super bill, but it hasn't come up yet. So that's been like really cool to see, and just like being able to express like the value that I can deliver and have it be like received well, and nobody be like, oh, well, you don't take my insurance, so I'm not going to see you. That's been cool, and it's shown me that like there's a lot more that we can do for people without having to follow what insurance says we can do.
Yes, so true. So do you have a hard time, or do you have to get clients to buy in to the cash PT model, or is that something that's fairly common out in Las Vegas?
Um, I honestly am not sure like how prevalent of a thing it is. I do have two friends here, which is cool. I've like started building like a little network here. But I have two friends, Allie, who does mobile cash PT, and she works with older adults. And then I have my friend Jen, who does cash PT for rock climbers. So it's definitely something that like people are doing here.
Uh-huh.
And like I did have one patient referred to me who specifically asked for a cash-based physical therapist. So I think that it's out there, and like maybe that's why it's like a little bit more accepted. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't say like I necessarily see like advertisements or anything. There's a ton of like national chains here. So I would say that's like mostly where people go. But then as far as the buy-in goes, honestly, I think like the most success that I've had with that is in my like delivery and the sales pitch on my evaluation. And like if I'm like really confident in what I'm saying and offer that like the patient a plan, and put it forward, like I get buy-in like right away. But like in instances where I've been, a little bit more like wavy, like on the fence, that's where like the issues come up. So, like going into it, having like that doctor frame and conviction about like what I can do for somebody, that's where the buy-in typically comes from.
Totally.
I love that.
Are you getting like clients more from like a direct consumer marketing? So through the gym that you go to or through the community rather than mainly physicians or like, typical referrals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I was working at the gym, I'm no longer working out of the gym. I'm kind of like my own my own entity now. But when I was working at the gym, it was all word of mouth. Like my first like 5 months, I like didn't do any marketing. It was just all word of mouth, which was really cool. And like I would set up my table in the gym, and just people would see me and stop by and be like, "Hey, how can you help me? But yeah, I don't have any relationships with physicians. It's just people who come directly to me or find me like on Facebook or on my website.
Cool.
Nice. I love it. Do you see any Medicare clients?
No. So my patient population, everybody I've seen so far is typically between the ages of 25 and 40. So I don't have like anybody who has Medicare. I have thought about possibly getting credentialed with Medicare because I do enjoy working with active older adults. I would just say, like, at least at this point in my business, it hasn't really come up at all. And my friend Allie that I work with, like if I did get a Medicare patient, I would probably just refer them to her.
Okay.
So you, my friend, are so much more than just like a cash PT, right? I just feel like I know all these like secrets about you, and I feel like everyone should know all these secrets about you. So let's talk about your more business consulting types of things that you can actually offer to other cash PTs, right? So for someone who wants to be a cash PT and is kind of like, oh, I don't know where to start, or someone who already is a cash PT and wants to become more multifaceted, let's talk about the other things that you dabble in.
Yeah, that's like my favorite subject. So get ready. Yeah, so pretty much I started my cash practice, and then like you said before, I pivoted into telehealth because it was just something that, I'm kind of like a tech nerd. So it was just something I wanted to do. And then by the time the pandemic came around, I just put all my athletes on telehealth, and I was like, you guys buckle up. We're going to be trying this out, and see how it goes. And it went really well. And then like the more that I was like posting about it and talking about it, then the more like other clinicians started to reach out to me, and they were like, hey, like, how do I make a business? How do I do telehealth? And I just, from there, I like completely pivoted like my main focus in my business. And I spent the last couple months working with a handful of other therapists and helping them get up and running. I built a course that you could theoretically start an entire business and start seeing clients in 30 days if you had, the time to devote to it. And I'm really proud of that because just a couple weeks ago, my 3 therapists I took through that, they graduated and they all have clients. Like in 6 weeks, they all got clients, which is so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. Like it was amazing. And they were so funny about it because we like hopped on our call and they were like, yeah, so like I just like signed up a client. They're paying me this amount per visit. And they're like, what do you mean? This is amazing. Like somebody just paid you money. Like you didn't even have to have a job. Like somebody just paid you money to work with you. That's amazing. It's so cool. So I have been working on improving all of that. I also take therapists like just kind of one-on-one, and we do consulting once or twice a month, and I help them like with their goal setting. I just helped one person like basically start an agreement with their CrossFit gym to start seeing people out of that gym, which is really cool. And then I'm really excited for like the next phase of things where I'm putting out, like version 2 of my program. That's going to take people, from absolutely nothing to like having a business entity and seeing clients. This time I'm going to run it on like a 60-day timeline. So there's like a little bit more breathing room. But that's the plan for right now. So whether, you are like completely new and have no business experience, I can help you get clients. I can help you make a business. I 100% can do that. Or, if you're in the thick of it and you're just kind of like struggling and wondering like what to do next, I can help you strategize to get there. So that's like something that I'm so passionate about. It's been really cool. And like part of the reason why I started doing that as well is I just like vividly remember telling one of my coaches last summer, like, of course, bawling my eyes out. But I was like, I just want to show other clinicians that like, you don't have to live like this, going to a 9-to-5 and seeing 600 patients all at one time. Like you don't have to do this, and you can actually do something that you enjoy doing. And that makes, a real impact on your community. So I'm really happy that I finally got around to this position and I'm able to help people like that.
Super, super cool.
Yeah.
So if someone is like, hell yes, I want to work with Dr. Morgan, this is what I want to do, where would they find you? Like, what is the best? I know you mentioned you have a podcast and you have like 2 Instagrams and you're like all over the place. It's great. This Facebook group because I'm in it. But I'm just curious, how do they find you?
Yeah, so best way to contact me would be probably just sending me a Facebook message. Honestly, you can find me on Facebook, or my website is just morganmeese.com, and you can find my contact info there as well.
That's super cool.
Awesome.
And are you helping people build cash-based PT businesses, or is it also for insurance? Like if someone's like, oh, I kind of want to contract with Medicare, like would you do that too?
So what I strictly do, because I've been all cash up until this point, so that's what I like to say, like my specialty is I can help you, like ask people for money for your services. But if they do want to contract with insurance or specifically Medicare, there is another PT named Anthony Maritato, if you guys have seen him on Facebook, but he has an amazing Medicare Facebook group. I think it's called like mostly cash with Medicare billing for therapists. So, I mean, that's just something where like I refer out and I'm like, you know what, I could try to figure this out, but I know somebody who already is an expert at this. So that's typically what I do. And that helps me stay in my lane and stay focused on what I'm doing.
Yeah. Very.
My dog must hear your dog or someone else's dog. I don't know if that dog is outside my window or if that's one of your dogs, but my dog is going crazy behind me, behind this door.
Yeah, I know. My dog just like goes outside and barks at nothing.
Oh, well, that's the life, man.
Yeah, it's freedom, I guess.
So if you had one piece of advice for consumers and for therapists, right? They can be 2 separate pieces of advice. Mm-hmm. Golden nuggets. What would they be? What would you say?
I think, let's see. So golden nuggets for a consumer, I would say like number 1, I think would be to like learn how to be an advocate for your health. Like I think the healthcare system can be super confusing. I mean, personally, I used to have a kidney disorder when I was younger, and I just like can't even, begin to fathom like all the things that went into that. And just like, you can blindly follow like doctor's orders and things like that. But, if something doesn't make sense to you, you need to ask about it. And like you're well within your rights to ask for a second opinion, and to ask around and see like if this is the right choice for you. Because another thing that I have seen out here, I don't know how common it is for like other places in the country, but like unnecessary surgeries happen constantly. Like in home health, like I remember I had this one person who I think she was like 60 years old and had been having like moderate bilateral hip pain for like 6 months to a year. Bilateral hip replacement, no physical therapy, no conservative intervention, just like went for it. And I understand like how like maybe in some cases that could be helpful, but like in most cases, as a consumer, you need to figure out what you can do that's like the least invasive possible and like try that stuff out first. And that's, why you would seek out one of us, like a physical therapist, and ask for help with that. There are a lot of healthcare professionals out there who are solo, like myself. And if you find us, they're happy to do a free consult, and you can ask people questions and see what the best course of action is going to be. So that's what I always tell people, and I always, kind of like congratulate people on, is being an advocate for themselves. So that's one thing. And then let's see, for clinicians, so like my one piece of advice for clinicians, like anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. Whenever I try to do this, or I like have like a list of like my top 5 things like any new business owner needs to know, it's always like just more and more and more like golden nuggets. Um, but I think like the one thing that I want to try to get across to people, whether you have been in this for several years or, you just graduated, is, you have a skill and you have knowledge that is so incredibly valuable, that like you need to understand that and know that you have like the right and the power to decide like where that knowledge and experience goes, and you don't have to have like a corporation tell you what your value is. You don't have to let somebody else tell you what you're worth and like that be it. There are so many other avenues that you can take that are going to lead to just like personal fulfillment and community impact. And you have the ability to be like an independent entity and go after what you want to do. And so like with my program and what I'm trying to do with the like consulting and coaching that I'm doing is see like, look, we have seen this year that even though we are in a safe profession, it's not safe. Like anything could happen at any time. And like all the people who have lost their jobs so far, they've been business decisions because you're just kind of like a piece of the machine. But if you are able to start your own business, which you are super capable of doing, it is really not complicated. It takes work, but it's not complicated. You can start your own business and become your own business entity, and then you always have something there where you can go out and make income. It gives you something to fall back on if you don't want it to be your main thing. If you, like, God forbid you did lose your job, you can be like, okay, well, I need to go out and find clients this week so I can pay my bills this month. It gives you that power and that autonomy and authority to do something for yourself and take care of yourself. So kind of like in the same way of, if you're a patient, advocating for yourself, if you're a clinician, advocate for yourself. You don't have to let people tell you what you can and cannot do. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, that is amazing. I love that. Absolutely love that. How like empowering. So awesome. I love it. Love it. Oh my gosh.
That really sounds like Kelly's story. Kelly, that sounds like so much of like what you went through, like what, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, like COVID time, like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah. God. Yeah. I mean, I didn't lose my job, but I changed jobs. I quit my job and started my own business. And yeah, I mean, I love it. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. All you need to learn is a few things and do some paperwork and then go after it.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Did your program teach you business, Morgan, or no? Like, did you have like a business side of PT, like go make your own business type of thing? Or was it kind of like you came out and just have this brain and can really just make it work?
Yeah, so like great question, because that's been something that I've been talking to people about this week actually, which is kind of weird. And I'd love to hear from you guys too, like what your programs had. But I love my program. I love going to school at Ithaca College, but I will say that like the business class that we took, all I really remember is that business class. It was like make a budget, like make a spreadsheet, make a budget of whatever you think you're going to need for whatever amount of money you think you want to ask investors for. Pick a patient population, but probably also be like a general ortho clinic, and pick a physical location in Ithaca where you would set up shop. And that was it. Like that was our business class. So like based on what I know now, we didn't really have a business class. What about you guys?
No.
So I can't even remember what the class was called, and it's not even been that long, gosh. But anyway, we had a class where we had the option to make a business plan or be part of this like debate, like trial jury type thing. So me and my group of friends in PT school did the business plan. And I remember thinking, I am never doing this. No, this is horrible. No way. And here I am. And so I think that it's not a very common thing for schools and PT programs to talk about business and marketing, and because it's just not the norm, it's not our traditional model of healthcare where physical therapists typically fit in. I mean, I really, really hope that in the future that changes, because it's such a viable, great way to practice. So I really hope that changes. But yeah, I just remember making this business plan. Like, I have vivid memories of sitting at this table in the house we rented and like stressing about this business plan, thinking I'm not ever doing this. And it's just so funny how it all works out.
Yeah. Let's think. My program, I went to AT Still in Arizona. AT Still is hella good about patient care. We come out as well-rounded, whole person, holistic. Let's be team members, right? Like literally week 1 of my schooling was, let's put you at a table with a PA, a DO, an NP, and an AT.
So cool.
Like, super cool. Like literally, we are so good at collaborative care. I am so good at that. I am not good at business. We had a gosh, what was it called? Like business and healthcare class. And it was my second year. It had to be like second quarter, maybe third quarter. And we also made a business plan, and that took like, I don't know, 4 weeks, like where we worked on it in school. And then like the other weeks we actually went through. So the Arizona state has a really intense AZ PT governing board. And so like every month they had meetings, and we would actually like go through the minutes from the meetings and be like, okay, look at the ethical things that are like going on that shouldn't be going on. So like that was also really insightful. So, but that wasn't really business, right? Like I know Ben Fung, he has come out, and I think he has his MBA and his DBT obviously. And he's come out saying that like programs should be dual, right? And I totally agree. Like I have thought about going back to get my MBA, and I've had this conversation with my husband, and it's like, holy crap, can I take on more debt right now? And the answer is not right now. No, because I'm building a house and I'm doing all these things, but like, I really want that. I really want some kind of business education that was not given to me. So I also really hope that changes. My business and healthcare class didn't do much for me, but I have a really great network and some really great resources from, Danny Matea and Aaron LeBauer, and learning from you, Morgan, and like all of these other things that like I'm making my own education.
Yeah.
What other resources, Kel? We've talked to some really, really, really awesome people, truthfully. What are the resources that I missed? Like, what before you started, what'd you read? Who'd you talk to? I'm totally spacing.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Nicole Cozine. She's in our pelvic. So Jen and I are both pelvic PTs. So she's in our pelvic world. I read Aaron LeBauer, Danny Matea. I did a call like this last week, I guess that was, with Eve Gigi, who's Danny Matea's business partner. He's amazing, by the way. I like scoured the internet and just started like following all these people that had cash practices. And I mean, that's really kind of what I did.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Morgan? Did you do anything else? Like, I know Jared Carter was another one that I looked up.
Oh, yeah.
He's also on the Medicare wellness-ish stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I honestly don't even remember like my research phase, but I took one of Danny Matea's courses. I learned a lot from Eve as well. Kind of follow Aaron LeBauer. Haven't taken any of his stuff, but I mean, like Danny, I work with gym athletes, so like that was kind of made sense. And then like on Facebook, like Facebook has been a great resource More recently, I would say like I'm following Will Boyd and Alex Engar, and I might be working with them soon because they are wizards in my opinion. Like they're so good at what they do. I took one of their like how to make a Facebook group courses, and like the acute care group that Kyle, my boyfriend, and I run is like almost 1,000 people now. Like it's insane like how good like Will and Alex are at digital marketing and all that stuff. But let's see. I think like after I really looked at like Danny's stuff, Aaron's stuff, I followed Rob Vining for a really long time for the telehealth stuff. But then I think I really just started, you know, like joining groups on Facebook and like watching what people were discussing and commenting on, asking questions myself. That was really helpful. Just like building a network, you know, and like knowing who to ask about what kind of stuff. And I think like one other person that I really like to follow is Brandon Smith. I don't know if you guys have seen him on Facebook, but I love all the things that he has to say. I think some of the stuff that he says is like very straight to the point, but I love that he is just like so unapologetically like himself and like able to express his opinions. That for me has been like really inspirational because now I feel like I don't have to be afraid, you know, to share my opinion on what we should be doing and how like insurance is kind of the worst in a lot of cases. So.
Yeah.
I don't know this person, and I don't even follow this Brandon Smith person. I'm like literally like on my phone right now. Like, who is this person? So Dr. Dr.Smith_DPT. Does that sound about correct?
I think so. Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess that that's correct. Sweet, follow. Okay, I'm gonna probably go stalk this dude now tonight. So sorry, Dr. Brandon Smith.
He has a lot of opinions, but he's great. He's awesome. And he's been cool to follow too, because he's very much into like finding like other sources of income and not like strictly like sticking to like a job. Like he's involved in a lot of different things. He's also like the home health care person. Like he knows so much about home health, and he has a course on it that I took last year when I first started home health. So even though he says what is on his mind, he's also super smart and really, really helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah. God, I learned so much from these videos. I literally take away something totally different every single time.
Yes.
Super cool. People really shouldn't be afraid to transition away from the typical model, right? And I know that financially and how much our schooling actually costs is a huge factor for people, right? I mean, when you're coming out of school with, what is it on average, like 130 plus, 150 plus, I don't know the exact number, I'd have to go look it up. But when you come to school with that much debt, it's freaking terrifying, right? It's terrifying. So there are ways to do it, and there are ways to be happy, and there are ways not to burn out, right? So that's the take home. Like, just do it. Like if you're thinking about it, you should be doing it already.
Yeah. Like following like what you love to do, or like what I like to say is like if you can't shut up about it, like you should probably do that thing.
I love that. Yes. That's right. Awesome. Oh, so good.
I think that's all those are all my questions. Kelly, do you have anything else for Dr. Morgan?
I don't think so. I loved all of it. Like Jen said, I mean, every time we talk to somebody, there's something new we take away. There's a lot. I mean, I feel like everyone we talk to, you can just sense the passion and the joy that doing this brings to all of us. So I'm just so excited that we get to do this and spread the love across the internet and have these awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is just, it's my favorite. Like getting to know all kinds of other people. And I almost feel like it's, you know, like leaving the traditional model of healthcare and going out on my own has led me to like learn so much more than I could have possibly learned, like staying in my regular job and like also like networking with way more people. You know, and like by doing this, I feel like I'm kind of like creeping out of the shadows and be like, oh, you guys are doing this too. You know, like I'm not alone anymore, which is awesome. So I really appreciate all of this and like getting to know you guys, hopefully talk to you again soon. Yeah, and I love what you guys are doing.
Awesome.
All right, one more recap. If people want to find you on all your socials, like all the platforms and the podcast, list them for us real quick.
Okay, so Instagram is Dr. Morgan Meese. Facebook is Morgan Meese, morganmeese.com. Pretty simple. I'm trying to like keep everything the same. And then my Facebook group, which I'd love to have you in, is Cash-Based Healthcare Entrepreneurs Now. So those are definitely going to be all the best places to find me. And then my podcast I just started doing is called The Coach's Corner with Morgan and Lindsay, where Lindsay is one of my good friends, my business bestie. We just talk about like all the things that go into making an online business. So if you are interested in any of that stuff, definitely let me know and keep an eye out for all my posts on my program that'll be launching in the next month or so.
Awesome.
Super awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been super great. And once this video is live, we'll share it with you. Share too.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Yay!
Have a good night.